Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost?
While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you. Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit sceducationlottery.com.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
In Arkansas, a woman who disappeared over a year ago is found alive and subsequently arrested. In New York, two good Samaritans walk a woman home in the wee hours of the morning and then both get stabbed by the man who was following her. And in Texas, a high school student is charged with murder after he says he was defending himself from a bully. These stories and more dominated the headlines this week, and we are discussing them today on CrimeWire Weekly. I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Kelly Jennings.
And look, before we get into it, go Tigers. CWS champs, the College World Series. And if you were in Louisiana this past week, you definitely had your eyes on that game.
That game was wild, too. The coach being thrown out in, the first inning?
Yeah,
that was wild.
All kinds of crazy stuff. And we told you about the Jell-O Shot Challenge last week, which, as I predicted, they did not break the record set in 2023, which was an unbelievable 68,000-plus Jell-O shots. However, they did win the annual crown this year. They consumed 52,390 Jell-O shots, which, if you're curious, at $5 each, which I confirmed was the cost, this is a total cost of $261,950
in Jell-O.
In Jell-O with a little bit of alcohol in it.
Nice.
Look, no one brings revenue to a city like LSU fans. I can promise you that.
Look,
Dallas loves us. Omaha loves us.
Look, my dad had a shirt. He still wears it to this day, and I love it. It says that we're a drinking town with a football problem. And that's always been my favorite, because that's us.
That's a great way to say that.
Yeah.
It is absolutely true. So congratulations to LSU for that win, and congratulations to LSU fans for that win.
That's right.
As well. They're probably still getting over it.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we're going to go to Arkansas for this first story, and an Arkansas woman who went missing a year ago recently turned up at a gas station. So police respond, and then they promptly arrest her for an outstanding warrant. Tori Millsack, who is 35, walked into a gas station. This was about 3 p.m. last Thursday. It was in Little Rock, Arkansas. And she told the staff that she was a missing person. This prompted them to call law enforcement, which they did. And an employee and the responding officer, they said that Millsack, she appeared calm when they got there. According to the police report, Millsack told the officer she ran away from home a year ago. And she also made him aware she had a warrant out for her arrest. She was taken into custody and is currently being held at the Garland County Detention Center. Now, this outstanding warrant was a failure to appear, so she missed a court date. And I have a little bit more on that for you in a second. Millsack's family members, who have been tirelessly searching for her, say they are relieved she's still alive, but shocked by her sudden reappearance. Shocked was the initial reaction because I had been told she might have been murdered multiple times. That from her brother, Jason Hamill. Hope was lost. I mean, like everybody said, you hold on to that 1%, she'd be found alive. And she's that 1%. Now, in previous interviews, Hamill said his sister had, for the most part, stopped communicating with her family in 2023. He said she was battling post-traumatic stress disorder after a tragic event, and this led up to her disappearance in his mind. Millsack was reported missing on June 6th of 2024 and was last seen in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Quote, makes me very angry, not at Tori, but at some people. Now it's time to start the healing process and rebuild Tori's life. That from her brother. He said he had been haunted by his last conversation with his sister, which came amid a family crisis during which he and his father were faced with a tragic decision of taking another sibling off life support after a motorcycle accident. Quote, Tori called and she sounded like she was mad about something, and I told her I didn't have time to deal with her crap right now. She said, I'm sorry, I love you, I'll call you in a week, and I never heard from her. So that's haunted me for the last year, thinking that maybe if I took an extra 5 minutes, things could have been different. Hamill said his family has not yet had the chance to communicate with Millsack while she was in custody, but they're anxiously awaiting their first opportunity to speak with her in over a year. Quote, I'm nervous and I want to find out what happened. Was she held against her will? It's been a year. I want to see her, make sure she's okay. Millsack's next court appearance in Garland County is set for July. And I actually got really curious about what she was arrested for because I thought, maybe that has something to do with her sudden disappearance. Yeah. So I did pull up the probable cause report, and it said on April 11th of 2024, Officer Zach Huffman responded to Hillcrest Street in reference to a breaking and entering in progress. Prior to the officer's arrival, the victim, Jamie Nash, advised our dispatch that an unknown subject was currently inside of her black 2019 Ford Explorer. Upon the officer's arrival, contact was made with the vehicle and officers placed a white female under arrest, and she was sitting in the driver's seat of that vehicle. Millsack followed commands and was placed into custody without incident. Nash, who is the car's owner, looked inside the vehicle, and there were several items on the front driver and passenger side that did not belong to her. Upon collecting the items where Millsack had been observed, the officer located several credit cards and driver's license that all belonged to Millsack and displayed her name. A black container was located with several items Nash stated were containers of hers, but some of the items inside were not hers. Nash pointed out several of Nash's items were scattered throughout the front seat. It apparently looked like that vehicle had been ransacked, and so she likes to break in vehicles. You know, this is a situation, her family, her brother seems like he really loves her, and he's happy to finally see her reappear, if you will. But I don't know about the PTSD thing. It sounds to me like she may have been running because of that warrant.
I don't know. Something about this screams mental illness to me. Maybe not PTSD related, but we don't know what type of lifestyle she lived either. But something about this it doesn't seem like a woman on the run to me. It seems like a woman that's completely frazzled, disordered, not following any sort of, you know what I'm trying to say, to go to a house and just open a car and go through it. I don't know what time of day it was either. That would matter to me. I know that's weird, and I'm analyzing this a lot, but with the brother dying, we don't know if that's related or not either, but I hope that they will look at her mental health for sure. She doesn't seem violent and like she's hurting other people either. I mean, breaking into someone's vehicle and rummaging through, it's aggravating as hell.
Well, regarding time of day, it was 0847, so it was 8:47 in the morning. Which
is, again, a very bizarre time to be breaking in someone's car, too. Most people would do it in the cloak of night.
That's when I do it.
Yeah, me too, clearly, when we go together. But yeah, this is weird. And then to be gone for an entire year, how do you survive for a year. I wonder if she was reported missing. Was she?
Oh, yeah.
She was reported? So I wonder if they looked at her credit card
But she was an
usage
adult.
Or, I know, but if she's still reported missing and they take the report, I do wonder if they looked into that. Because like a whole year, think about that. A whole year and no contact with your family. And they said she started no contact in 2023, correct?
Yes.
The family. So that means that she was starting to decline
even before she
disappeared. So I think that we got a mental health crisis on our hands with this girl.
Most interesting thing to me about this whole thing is she disappeared in Hot Springs. She was found in Little Rock. They're less than an hour from each other.
She didn't go far.
No, she's 54 minutes, according to what I looked up, from where she disappeared to where she was found. So that was usually you're found states over after a year.
Which also means there's more to this story, which also means when he says, I'm not mad at her, I'm mad at some people. Well, okay, that tells me there's more to this and that somebody has been housing or allowing her to live off of whatever is going on. So,
Agreed.
I don't want to minimize it, but I'm glad she's alive. That's a great
minimizing it.
That's a great thing. And hopefully she can turn her life around and she still has time to get things going.
Agreed.
All right, hey, let's go to Texas real quick. 3 people and 2 dogs are dead after a murder-suicide in Texas over the weekend that left a law enforcement officer seriously injured. Leon County Sheriff Kevin Ellis identified the assailant as 38-year-old James Scott Gregory and the victims as his mother and father. Gregory also shot deputy from the Leon County Sheriff's Office before dying by suicide by turning the gun on himself. Deputies initially went out on a welfare check after receiving a call about a suicidal subject who alleged to have killed his parents in Normandy, a town with a population of less than 500 located approximately 120 miles east of Austin. When the deputies, who were joined by a trooper from the Department of Public Safety, attempted to make contact with someone inside the residence, Gregory allegedly opened fire, according to Ellis. One deputy was struck in the face and the arm during the gunfire and had to be transported from the scene by helicopter to receive medical treatment. After that, law enforcement set up a perimeter around the residence, and soon a SWAT team arrived to take control of the scene. When the SWAT team entered the home, they found 2 dogs and a man later identified as Gregory's father, who had been shot dead. They also discovered Gregory dead from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. While all of this was happening, deputies with the Harris County Sheriff's Office were performing a welfare check at the home of Gregory's mother. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said the deputies arrived to the home and found Gregory's mother dead from an apparent gunshot wound. The Texas Rangers are now handling the investigation into the incident, and the deputy shot twice during the incident is in stable condition and awaiting surgery. Law enforcement has yet to release the names of the 3 victims.
Look, I thought about the deputy who was shot in this situation. Of course, my hearts go out to everyone that was involved in this, but in the deputy's case, most deputies will tell you the most dangerous situations you can go on are domestics, and domestics can include parents and son, husband and wife,
nuclear family,
fathers and daughters, mothers and sons, whatever. But in this situation, the heat is so high because the emotions are so high in that type of situation with family involved. That would be calls I would not want to go on because you just never know how those can turn out.
Especially when someone's suicidal, you know that it's already, it's already amped up. It's ramped up. There's a lot of emotion involved.
Right. And just a horrible situation. And Texas Rangers, look, they're good and they're handling the investigation and they're going to get to the bottom of all of this. But I don't know what makes somebody kill their own parents and their dogs and shoot a deputy in the face and then kill themselves so they don't have to face responsibility.
I wonder if it was he was trying to do a suicide by cop and then when he opened fire or something. But either way, God bless those parents that suffered this. That had to be traumatic before their passing, and then the people that loved them now have to deal with losing a whole family.
Right.
That's heavy.
Agreed. Let's go to Louisiana and look. Have you heard of Sammy Kershaw?
I have.
Are you familiar with Sammy Kershaw?
I am. I love him.
Back in the early 90s to really the mid to late 90s, he was the bomb.com in the country music world. I mean, Sammy Kershaw, everybody loves Sammy Kershaw. Well, he's in a little bit of trouble.
Uh-oh. What'd Sammy do?
Well, let me tell you what Sammy did. According to a news release, the former Louisiana Lieutenant Governor candidate, which a lot of people don't remember. He ran for lieutenant governor of the state of Louisiana. He was on his way to a show. This was in Lafayette, at the Lafayette airport, and security stopped him. And TSA flags his bag after finding a wayward firearm inside. The FBI gets called into the action. Kershaw offers an innocent explanation for the offense. He said, "It was early. I was half awake, clearly not thinking straight." He said, "I've sang a lot of songs about heartbreak and hard times, but forgetting to check my carry-on for a loaded firearm, that's a new one."
Yeah.
That was his exact words. Sammy Kershaw could have faced jail time and fines in excess of $10,000 for that firearm that he said was a simple oversight. As it is now, he must pay $5,000. That's an automatic fine. And he's vowed to be more careful going forward. He said, "I guess it's safe to say I won't be packing heat at my next show." He went on to say, "Let this be your friendly public service announcement. Check your bags, check them twice. Let's all stay safe out there." But Sammy Kershaw caught with a gun in his bag, and the police don't play when you're in an airport and you get caught with a loaded firearm in your bag. But look, that happens a lot with travel and people forgetting. Just simply forgetting about a gun.
Well, if you carry one consistently, if that's like your secondary thing, second nature thing, you carry a weapon with you all the time. I'm not saying that it was in any way right or anything, but I guess if it's just second nature to you, I could see how you might just inadvertently throw it in your bag, but not in an airport. Like, come on, Sammy, and it was loaded. It wasn't even like it was, broken down or something or however. So yeah, that was a big screw up there. We were going one time, we were flying to Vegas for a friend of ours' wedding, and I had another friend of mine with me, and she was like sweating bullets while we were going through the check. Okay, at the airport. And I said, "Why are you so damn nervous?" She said, oh my God, there's a thing in my bag. Oh my God. I said, "What is in your bag?" Because I automatically think drugs, weapons, and she is the most Christian, like, good girl. Okay. I mean, when I tell you tripping ball, she was tripping. I said, "What did you put in that luggage?"
Sex toy.
She said, "Yes."
I knew it.
Yes. She had bought this thing and she put it in there. She goes, "Oh my God, if they find that magic rabbit. Oh my God, if they find that magic rabbit." Because everybody, we're all going through together. She's like, I'm going to die. She bought it as a
we know why
an
she
interesting thing for her husband.
We know why she bought it,
So
Kelly
now,
Jennings.
anytime I go through, I think,
We're all adults.
do I have magic rabbits in my bag?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, an interesting interview that I've always thought would be interesting was someone that did baggage check for like 20 years in an airport.
Oh,
Wouldn't it be
hell yeah.
cool to sit down with them and just talk about the stuff that they have seen, busted people with, et cetera, over the years?
We need to do that.
We need to work on that.
Hey, we
That
really
would be
do. We need to
fun.
find. Do we have anybody listening that
Yeah,
that
you
does
don't
that?
even have to be local. If you're a baggage check person from anywhere in the world, we can talk to you and
How can they
do it
contact
remotely.
us? How can they contact
They
us?
just send a message on Exposed or Unspeakables.
Yeah,
page.
get on there and send us a message. We're on Facebook and everything. Find us because I'm curious now. My mind wants to know.
Yeah, I'm curious too. That would be very interesting.
All right, let's go to Texas where we've got something going on here. The social media and fitness influencer known as the Liver King was arrested in Austin, Texas. The Liver King, whose name is Brian Johnson, was taken into custody on the evening of June 24th and is now being held on a potential charge of making terroristic threats. The Liver King was featured on Untold, The Liver King on Netflix. The Liver King recently posted about Rogan, talking about Joe Rogan, okay? Joe Rogan, like you
As
don't know.
opposed to the other Rogan.
As opposed to the other famous Rogan. I'm an idiot, y'all. Okay. He posted about Rogan. Joe Rogan, I'm calling you out. My name's Liver King. Man to man, I'm picking a fight with you. I have no training in jiu-jitsu. You're a black belt. You should dismantle me. But I'm picking a fight with you. Your rules. I'll come to you whenever you're ready. End quote. It's not clear whether the Rogan comments have anything to do with the Liver King's arrest, though.
Well, and look, a couple of things here, and this is making big news, believe it or not, for several reasons. But the first thing I'll say about this is Joe Rogan will beat that ass on
I'd love to
the
watch
Liver
it.
King. And are you familiar with who the Liver King is?
No, not at all.
Really?
I love Rogan. I don't know the Liver
Okay,
King. Why is it the Liver
while
King?
I'm telling you about the Liver King, I want you to Google Liver King.
All right, here we go.
Because it's very important that you see what the Liver King looks like. Now, the Liver King, Kelly, has made a living off of eating liver. Raw liver only. He's only eat meat kind of carnivore kind of guy.
He's ripped.
Yeah, well, he made a claim that he never did steroids. Now he's 50.
I'm calling
ish,
BS.
almost 50, somewhere around there. Claims he's never taken steroids. Joe Rogan said, what everybody knew, which was that's bullshit.
He's not. He's cut different.
You're full of shit.
Yeah, give me a
You're
break.
the chemical kid.
Give me a
Well,
break.
this pissed him off and led to those comments. Is that really what terroristic threat? I don't know that the Liver King was really serious in that, but bro, you can't be threatening people and posting it online. Technically, that's a criminal charge.
Yeah,
You
but I
can't
don't take that
threaten
as a
to
threat.
Beat somebody's ass.
don't-
It's a total threat.
Nah, I don't take it that way. I take this as a guy who's trying to get his 15 minutes of fame.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't think he intended to threat. I didn't think the intent to really beat his ass was there. But you flip that if Joe Rogan wasn't somebody that could take care of themselves, and you got a man that size telling you, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to come to Austin and kick your ass. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, but
you might be a little concerned about that.
I don't know.
I'm not saying I would, but
Well, he would beat my ass. Let's start there. Okay, he would
I
beat,
don't
but
know
he
about
says
that.
I'll come to you whenever you're ready. Like, I don't know. I get that they're going to do it. He's going to plead this down if it has anything to even do with that at all. And Joe Rogan, I'm down to watch it if
but Joe
and when.
Rogan would beat that.
I know, he'd beat the
ass.
brakes off
yeah,
of him.
Yeah. Anyway,
He'd beat him to a piece of
Big-
liver.
yeah, and terroristic threats, serious thing.
Dude, that dude's ripped,
We'll
though.
keep you posted. Yeah, he's very ripped and very fake.
Yeah.
Which, hey, you're 50, man.
Wait.
It's okay if you want to do a little juice.
You wanna-
He finally admitted it. but-
Look, why don't you get some? He probably did what a lot of guys do, and the guys are going to get mad at me for this, but he's going to claim he has low T. Oh no, I take it because
Well,
I have low
most
T.
do at that age.
I know, but that's still going to affect your body physique. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just
TRT.
yeah.
All right. So let's go to Washington.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you an update. Gosh, this story just infuriates me because we can't get resolution on it. We've covered this guy several times, and I've got an update on the Matt Decker story. Still has not been caught, y'all. The Washington State father is wanted for the killings of his 3 daughters. But now police are saying he may no longer be alive in the remote wilderness. And I would probably venture he's not.
Yeah.
Travis Decker, 32, as we told you, is accused of murdering his 3 daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. And the oldest of those 3 y'all was 9. That's how disgusting this asshole was. After their bodies were found near Decker's abandoned vehicle in a remote campground. Now, in a statement released Monday night, the sheriff's office revealed that there is no certain evidence that Decker remains alive or even in that area, but insist authorities are continuing to search for him. Quote, seemingly strong early leads gave way to less convincing proofs over the last 2 weeks of searching. Still, we can't and won't quit this search. Additionally, authorities are set to deploy, and this gives you a good idea of their mindset, a cadaver dog. Quote, some search resources are being redirected to find and recover Decker if he died in the rugged wilderness during this intense search, adding that it is a possibility that increases every day. So still looking for this guy, but when they start deploying the cadaver dogs, they're not real confident he's still alive. And look, you can only go 3 days without food.
So look, I'm about to sound like an asshole, but I'll own it. I don't really care. I'm just appalled that someone could go through such a decline. And I'm saying that because I did look at photos of him past to future, and you can see the visual decline of this person. Taking better care of our military people when they come home. You don't think it has anything to do with that?
No.
Not at all.
I don't think you
just
kill
think
your
he went
kids because you're not being taken care of.
No.
by the military.
I'm saying the mental health after
I don't
deployment.
But who's insinuating he wasn't taken care of? This dude, it's almost like you're giving him an out.
No. Not at all. I'm just saying in general, if there was a decline mentally, and his wife or his ex-wife went to the courts multiple times and said that it was alarming how bad he was declining, yet nothing was ever done and he was still given access to his children. Like, overall, I don't understand why more wasn't done. The children should have never been put in that position to begin with. Like, they were failed on so many levels.
I agree with that.
You don't think the mental health decline has to do with the military? Is that what
I
you're
don't
saying?
care. I don't think there's any excuse for what he did, whether he was mentally declined because of the military. I think that there are hundreds of thousands of millions of guys that served in the military that don't kill their kids.
Absolutely, but the children should have never been in
mentally,
his care.
They're scarred, but they don't kill their kids.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. But
so, no, I don't think it had anything to do with it.
I just don't understand. Like, those children should have never been in his care. It was very clear. The mother was speaking up saying that he was declining, yet he was homeless and still given access to these children.
Right. It's a moot point. I agree. That's hindsight, though, Kelly.
Okay.
His wife also said that he had never done anything that would indicate this, ever.
Yeah.
So if he's never done anything to indicate it, the police have no right to deny a dad access to his children.
If you don't have a house or anywhere to take these children to properly eat and bathe and all that, you don't need to have access to the children. There's something wrong.
But he wasn't taking them off. He had 3-hour visitations.
I don't give a damn.
As
a mother.
I understand. Yeah, but fathers have rights too. There's a lot of good fathers out there that do a lot of things. And I agree with you that this guy was a piece of shit, but this is all hindsight. He showed none of this. The wife said he had none of this behavior.
When he first came back?
Ever. Before this happened, he never touched a hair on his kids' heads. According to the mother, there was no sign.
So you think he just flipped a switch and went from no problem to just major problem, kill kids?
I don't know what the fuck he did. I don't even want to, I'm not even trying to decipher his mind because I can't decipher it. It makes absolutely zero sense to
know.
me.
I'm mad for the kids, I guess is what I'm saying. So I don't give a shit if he's alive or dead is kind of where I'm at. I don't this should have been avoided from the jump. When he started showing these symptoms of giving up his life and not having a home and just roaming, that's a sign.
We're looking at this with the advantage of hindsight.
Yeah.
At the time, this guy did not seem like he would be someone that would ever be capable of doing something like this. Sadly, sometimes there's no way you could have stopped it. There's nothing that makes any sense. Shit just happens.
Yeah.
And I think this was one of those situations.
Even they keep harping too in the news about how he's got survival tactic training and all that.
He does.
I know, but I don't think he's got something beyond maybe when he's in his best clear mind.
Yeah, and even if you're an Army Ranger, okay, who are trained to live in the most horrible conditions for a long time, which he was not an Army Ranger.
Right.
But even when you're that, there's a limit.
Yeah.
You're going to run out of food eventually. You're going to run.
Right.
They
just have to meet their due diligence.
And you would see movement. You would see camps. Right. You would see, they're going to see that. Yeah.
But they have to do their due diligence and make sure that, that the community is safe. So they have to keep looking until they,
that's right. And they need to find bones or something if he's dead. I want them to find and know that this guy is nowhere near walking free.
Yeah. And I'd be worried about that mom too, because you don't know, as far as safety too, you don't know what his mindset
that's right.
Obviously
True.
would be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what if we take a little gander to Florida? How about that? Because Florida's handling business right now. A man convicted of raping and killing a woman near a Central Florida bar was executed Tuesday evening. Thomas Lee Gudinas, 51, was pronounced dead at 6:13 p.m. following a lethal injection at Florida State Prison near Stark, said Brian Griffin, a spokesman for Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. Hey everyone, CrimeWire Weekly has moved to its own new channel.
We hope you've enjoyed this preview. To continue listening, please follow the link referenced in the description of this podcast.
Or simply search CrimeWire Weekly wherever you're listening.
And don't forget to follow the show so you can be alerted when new episodes drop.
Thanks for listening.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.